The Iowa DOT wants to improve highway safety and traffic control in the town of Merrill, Iowa. And the agency is entertaining changes to a busy stretch of Highway 75 where a rail crossing blocks traffic several times a day.
That's right. And just this afternoon, the DOT hosted a public meeting to get input about the plans they have. KTV's Sophie Wyckoff shares the story.
Up to 10 trains a day travel through the city of Merrill, creating safety risk and traffic delays. The Iowa Department of Transportation wants to improve safety and traffic flow in Merrill by reducing the rail corridor barrier and eliminate risk at 3 crossings in the Plymouth County town. The DOT brought 8 designs, including the top 3 concepts, to a public meeting to get feedback.
I like it that they're having these meetings because from the first meeting, I told everybody I wanted everybody to stay informed. We have everything on paper. They could see the pictures, they could see all the diagrams, they could see all the alternatives that there are.
The concepts include building a bridge so Highway 75 can go over the existing tracks, just west of the existing roadway. Another option would build a bridge so Highway 75 could go over the tracks, which would be shifted south. A third option would move Highway 75 east of its existing path and relocating the tracks to the south. An Iowa DOT transportation planner says all of the concepts had some merit to meet the purpose and need.
Some of the different concepts involve a bridge over, some don't, and they're just kind of all the different concepts that are available to us for what we could do here.
I spoke with David Phillips, the Iowa DOT rail transportation engineer, and he shares that their main concern will always be safety. But Merrill citizens' concern is their Casey's gas station.
What we also want to look at is not impacting any of the businesses, if possible, in that little triangle there by Casey's, as well as Casey's, since this is a small town and that is a major part.
The Iowa DOT appreciates the time residents spent on this project, even during the design phase.
We don't necessarily live here. We don't have the public experience, the knowledge, the history that the people who live in the town of Merrill do. So we want to make sure we hear their opinion.
In Merrill, Iowa, Sophie Wyckoff, KTIV News 4.
And the Iowa DOT says this is just the start of the project schedule. Another public meeting will be held this summer, and a finalized study will come out this fall.